Okay, this story out of Worcester, Massachusetts has basically everything you would expect to see in a true crime mystery. A veteran police officer is found dead inside a home. His wife disappears. Police launch a massive search. They warn the public that the woman they're looking for may be armed and dangerous. And now there's surveillance video showing her walking through the neighborhood just minutes after police arrived at the house. But then you find out who this woman is, and that's where the story takes a very strange turn. Her name is Karen Solomon. She's 58 years old. And for years, Karen Solomon has been known for something very specific, helping police officers and other first responders deal with mental health crises. She co-founded an organization now called First HEL, which works on first responder mental health and suicide prevention. She has written books about police suicide. Years ago, she was even featured in Boston area news coverage discussing a resource she was developing to help police officers in crisis. And today, police are looking for her in connection with the death of her own husband, a police officer who spent more than 3 decades on the job. So let's walk through what we actually know. Early Tuesday morning, at approximately 5:28, Worcester police were called to a home on Wildwood Avenue for what was initially described as a person down. When officers arrived, they found a man dead inside. That man was an off-duty Worcester police officer. The local police union has identified him as Patrolman Kurt Solomon, 57 years old and a 31-year veteran of the Worcester Police Department. 31 years. This wasn't somebody who had been on the force for a couple of years. This was basically his adult life. Colleagues have described him as a dedicated and well-respected officer, and investigators immediately began looking for Karen Solomon. Now, there's some unusual wording surrounding this case. Officials have been careful about how much information they've released because they're treating this as a domestic violence investigation, and Massachusetts privacy laws restrict some of what authorities can publicly disclose. But Worcester County District Attorney Joseph Early has publicly referred to Karen Solomon as a suspect. Police say she is wanted for questioning, and authorities have warned people not to approach her because they believe she may be armed. What they have not announced is a murder charge. They also haven't publicly told us exactly how Kurt Solomon died. That's important, because there's already a natural tendency with a story like this to fill in the blanks. Police officer dead, wife missing, massive manhunt. You can see how quickly people jump from those facts to a conclusion. But right now, investigators have not publicly given us enough information to make that conclusion. What we do have now is video. On Wednesday, police released ring camera footage that appears to show Karen Solomon walking near an animal clinic on Mills Road, close to Coe's Pond. The timestamp is about 5:41 Tuesday morning. Think about that timeline. Police responded to the Wildwood Avenue house at approximately 5:28. The video is from roughly 13 minutes later, and it apparently shows Karen walking through the area wearing shorts, a t-shirt, and flip-flops. No car, no suitcase, nothing that looks like somebody prepared for some elaborate disappearance. Just a woman walking down the road early in the morning. And as of Wednesday evening, authorities were still trying to find her. This has not been a small neighborhood search either. Multiple law enforcement agencies have been involved. Local officers, state authorities, federal resources. Search teams have been working through the surrounding area, while investigators have been collecting surveillance footage and asking residents for information. And police are telling people very clearly, if you see Karen Solomon, do not approach her, call authorities. But here's the part of the story that I keep coming back to, Karen Solomon's professional life. Because First HEL isn't some random organization she happened to volunteer with once. Her advocacy for first responders goes back years. A decade ago, CBS Boston profiled her work developing a resource for police officers experiencing emotional distress. She talked publicly about the psychological pain that can accompany police work, and the difficulty officers and their families sometimes have acknowledging that something is wrong. That work eventually became part of a broader effort focused on first responder mental health and suicide awareness. And now her husband, himself a career police officer, is dead. She's missing, and police are trying desperately to find her. There is an obvious temptation to look at her mental health advocacy and try to construct some explanation from it. We shouldn't. We don't know what happened inside that house. We don't know Kurt Solomon's cause of death. We don't know Karen Solomon's state of mind. And we don't know what investigators already know but aren't telling the public. Her work makes the circumstances extraordinary. It does not tell us what happened. There's another wrinkle here, because this case is moving incredibly quickly online. At one point, rumors circulated that Karen Solomon had already been found dead. Those reports spread on social media, but as of Wednesday evening, credible local reporting and police updates continue to describe the search as active. That's exactly why a case like this requires a little restraint. There are huge information gaps, and social media hates information gaps. Somebody fills one with a rumor, somebody else repeats it, and 20 minutes later, people are discussing an event that authorities never said occurred. So as of right now, the responsible version of the story is actually fairly simple. Kurt Solomon is dead. He was a 57-year-old Worcester police officer with approximately 31 years of service. His wife, Karen Solomon, is being sought by police. The district attorney has described her as a suspect. Authorities believe she may be armed and have warned the public not to approach her.
Police have released video apparently showing her walking near Coast Pond shortly after officers arrived at the Solomon home. And despite an extensive search, she remains unaccounted for. What we don't know may ultimately be the most important part. We don't know precisely what happened inside that house. We don't know how Kurt Solomon died. And we don't know why Karen Solomon walked away that morning. Until investigators find her or release substantially more evidence, those questions remain questions. And in a story this strange, that's probably exactly where we should leave them. I'm Otis, and this is Otis Explains. This episode is powered by AI and features a synthetic host race.